Next classification. Classification of polymers based on the intermolecular forces. A large number of polymer applications in different fields depending upon their unique mechanical properties like tensile strength, elasticity, toughness, etc. And these mechanical properties are governed by the intermolecular forces, that is van der Waals forces, hydrogen forces, and even dipole-dipole attractive forces between the polymeric chains. And these forces also bind the polymeric chains. Under this category, the polymers are classified into the following sub-4 groups on the basis of the magnitude of the intermolecular forces present in them. They are elastomers, fibers, thermoplastics, and thermosetting plastics. So classification of polymers based on the molecular forces, 4 types are there: elastomers, fibers, thermoplastics, and thermosetting plastics. Now first we discuss elastomers. From the word you can understand elastomers means elasticity will be there. So these are rubbers like solids with elastic character, and they are randomly coiled polymeric chains of irregular shape having few cross links. And in this elastomeric polymers, the polymeric chains are held together by the weakest intermolecular force, that is, you know very well, van der Waals force. And these weak binding forces permit the polymer to be stretched, and here and there a few cross links are introduced in between the chains, polymeric chains, with the help these cross links help the polymer to retract to its original position after the force is released, as in vulcanized rubber. Cross links permit them to come back to the original position, and they can be stretched out due to the weak van der Waals force. These 2 points you please underline. And examples for this elastomers are Buna N, Buna S, neoprene, even styrene, 1,3-butadiene, etc. And neoprene, the structure is given. Neoprene, the structure is given. It is obtained from chloroprene, CH2CCl, double bond CH, CH2, and this side it is extended. It is a polymer. And the monomeric unit is chloroprene that we discuss later. Second type is fibers. Fibers are the thread forming solids which possesses high tensile strength and high modulus. And these characteristics can be attributed to the strong intermolecular forces like hydrogen bonding. Please underline what type of intermolecular force is there: hydrogen bond or even dipole-dipole interaction. These strong forces also lead to the close packing of chains and thus impart the crystalline nature. The examples of polyamides and polyesters are belonging to this category. They have thread-like structure, and naturally they will have high melting point, high tensile strength, and least elasticity. And the force is the hydrogen force or dipole-dipole force. It is a strong force compared to van der Waals force. Examples you can give nylon, terylene, dacron, pan, that is polyacrylonitrile. Next type is thermoplastics. These are the linear or straightly branched long chain molecules capable of repeatedly softening on heating and hardening on cooling. When you heat it, they become very soft, and again cooling, it becomes hard. And these polymers possesses the intermolecular force of attraction intermediate between elastomers and fibers. So intermolecular forces in between those of elastomers and fibers. In the case of fibers, intermolecular force is a hydrogen force or dipole-dipole force, and elastomers, the force is a weak van der Waals force. Here it is intermediate, and they have linear structure or slightly branched polymeric structure. They become soft on heating and rigid on cooling. They can be remolded, and without when you heat it, there is no change in their chemical composition. Example: PVC, polyvinyls, polystyrene, polythene, Teflon, etc. coming under thermoplastic variety. Next, thermosetting polymers. And these polymers are cross-linked or heavily branched molecules which on heating undergo extensive cross-linking in molds and again become infusible. That means it cannot be remolded. It cannot be reused. And on heating, the chemical composition is altered and it gives the hard infusible mass. And hardening on heating due to the extensive cross link between the polymeric chains, it cannot be remolded. And an example for this is category, that is thermosetting polymers, is bakelite, urea formaldehyde, melamine formaldehyde, etc. Next, the last classification is based on the growth of the polymerization, how it grows and gives the polymer. There are two broad types of polymerization reactions. One is the addition or chain growth polymerization. Another is condensation or step growth polymerization. So polymers grow in two ways. One is chain growth, another is step growth. First we discuss addition polymerization or chain growth polymerization. In this type of polymerization, the molecules of the same monomer or different monomers add together on a large scale to form a polymer. So small units, monomeric units are added, or two different monomeric units, they are added. And the monomers used are unsaturated compounds. Addition means, already I told, the monomeric unit should have double bond or triple bond. So unsaturated compounds undergo addition easily, studied in 11th standard. Example, alkene, alkadines and their derivatives normally gives this type of polymerization. This mode of polymerization leading to an increase in chain length or chain growth can take place through the formation of either free radical or ionic species. However, the free radical governed addition or chain growth polymerization is the most common mode. So what is addition polymerization? Addition of monomers to the growing chain carrying intermediate. The intermediate may be free radical or carbocation or carboanion. And this is called addition polymerization. So monomeric units, they are added. Where you could see this type of polymerization in the case of unsaturated compounds. Now we discuss only the free radical addition polymerization. That is only highlighted. And the polymerization of ethene to polyethene consists of heating or exposing to light a mixture of ethene with a small amount of benzoyl peroxide initiated. For free radical mechanism, we need an initiator, free radical initiator, that is benzoyl peroxide. Other examples are acetyl peroxide and tertiary butyl peroxide. And the process starts with the addition of phenyl free radical formed by the peroxide to the ethene double bond, thus generating a new and larger free radical. This step is called chain initiation step. You know very well, chain reactions means it involves how many steps? 3 steps. First step is the chain initiation step. Second step is the chain propagation step. Third step is the chain termination step. This you have already studied in 11th standard organic chapter and chlorination of methane. So here also benzoyl benzoyl peroxide is added. It is acting as a free radical initiator. And ethene is converted into polyethene in the presence of phenyl free radical. And phenyl free radical we get from phenyl free radical initiator, that is benzoyl peroxide. And first step is called chain initiation step. As this radical reacts with another molecule of ethene, another bigger sized radical is produced. And the repetition of this sequence with the new and bigger radicals carries the reaction forward, and the step is termed as chain propagation step. It is propagated. And ultimately, at some stage, the product radical thus formed reacts with another radical to form a polymerized product. And here the mechanism is given. First we take benzoyl peroxide. Benzoyl peroxide, the formula is C6H5COO Same manner C6H5COO. Now you know very well the cleavage occurs here homolytically. You know what is homolytic cleavage. So here homolytic cleavage occurs. You get a free radical, benzoyl free radical C6H5COO dot. Then that releases carbon dioxide and gives the phenyl free radical. Free radical means an atom or group of atoms contain unpaired electrons, and it is a highly reactive species. And now phenyl free radical reacts with ethene and forming a free radical. And this step we call it as chain initiation step. Second step is chain propagating step. That free radical reacts with another molecule of ethene and forming again free radical. And this free radical reacts with many CH2 double bond CH2 molecule, that is ethene, and forming finally a larger sized free radical. This step we call it as chain propagation step. Next is termination step. For termination of the long chain, these free radicals, suppose two free radicals, you take same thing. Two free radicals, larger sized free radicals. Now they combine and forming a stable product, that is polyethene. This step we call it as chain termination step. So first step is chain initiation step, benzoyl peroxide, homolytic cleavage, benzoyl free radical, then carbon dioxide is released, phenyl free radical, then phenyl free radical reacts with ethene and forming a free radical. This is chain initiation. Then that free radical reacts with another molecule of ethene and forming a free radical. That will combine with many CH2 double bond CH2 and molecule and forming a larger sized free radical. This step we call it as chain propagation step. The last step is the termination step. Two free radicals combine and forming a stable product, that is polyethene. I hope you understood this. Chain growth polymerization, it is an addition polymerization, and all the atoms in monomer is used to produce a polymer, and the steps are, I told already, initiation, propagation and termination. So here ethene, it is one alkene is taken and the free radical initiator is added, and you get finally a larger sized free radical with this alkene, and after that termination step you get a polymer. So here also ethene, finally what you get will be polyethene polymer like this. Radical addition polymerization, it occurs in a chain manner, so that's why it is called chain growth polymerization. And here we are taking ethene, and that ethene n times polymerizes and gives polyethene. How you get this polymer? I am writing the steps again. The mechanism, free radical addition mechanism. First step is the initiation step. So number one, first step, you are taking the free radical initiator. What is the initiator you have taken? That is benzoyl peroxide. This is called benzoyl peroxide. And this benzoyl peroxide, here two electrons are there, one covalent bond is there. Now homolytic cleavage occurs. One electron is going here, another electron is going here. So what you get will be C6H5COO dot free radical. This is called benzoyl free radical. And now this benzoyl free radical loses carbon dioxide and you get two phenyl free radical. Now this phenyl free radical reacts with ethene and forming a free radical. Again double bond is removed, you get a free radical. This is your initiation step. Second step is propagation step. What is propagation step? And this free radical, what you get in the first step, reacts with another molecule of ethene and forming C6H5 CH2 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 dot free radical. And then this free radical reacts with n number of ethene and forming a larger sized free radical n times CH2 CH2 dot CH2 CH2 dot, larger sized. Third step is termination. Termination means two molecules of this. See, you have to write 2 times. CH2, 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 CH2. Two molecules now combine. Sorry, N times. CH2, CH2, N times. CH2, CH2 dot. These two combines and forming finally a stable polymer, that is CH2, CH2, N times CH2, CH2, that will combine with another molecule CH2, 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 N times C6H5. This is polyethene. Based on the type of mechanism during the growth of the polymeric chain, we classify the polymers into 2 types, that is polymerization. One is chain growth, already we discussed. The second type is step growth polymerization. Polymerization mechanism in which the bifunctional or multifunctional monomers react to form first dimers, then trimers, then finally a longer oligomers and eventually long chain polymers. So when both reactants are bifunctional or trifunctional, series of condensation occurs in a stepwise manner with the loss of simple molecules like water, alcohol, hydrogen chloride, etc. And the sequence of condensation reactions goes on and the polymeric chains keeps on growing step by step. That's why it is called step growth polymerization. Example, nylon 6,6, nylon 6, terylene, phenol formaldehyde, melamine formaldehyde, polyester, polyamide, polyurethane, all are coming under this step growth polymerization. And here you take 2 monomers here, 2 different monomers are taken. First step you get a dimer with a condensation occurs actually here. OH and H means water is released. And after that what? These units, then that will combine with another one and then another one, like that it goes. And finally you get a polymer like this. And example, nylon 6,6 I told already, bakelite and polyester terylene. And nylon 6,6 the monomers are adipic acid and hexamethylene and bakelite, you know very well where you see this bakelite, cooker handles and old switches, made up of bakelite. It is a heat resistive substance. And phenol and formaldehyde are monomers of this bakelite. And terephthalic acid and ethylene glycol are the monomers for polyester, that is terylene.